of the wild. And Ford answers with Bronco II, a real kick in four-wheeling. The Bronco II takes rough terrain and snow in stride with four-wheel drive. Inside, there's around-town comfort for four and split-fold seats for extra cargo. And Bronco II's just the right size for easy maneuvering in tight places. Plus, V6 power no competitor can touch. See the Ford Bronco II. It's a brand new kick.
What's going on? I'm Nick.
I'm Thomas.
And we are a part of MHR Off-Road. We wanted to start a little series playlist talking about all of our vehicles that we love to hate. I'm so busy lately with so many children that I don't have any time to go camping, especially right now this fall when normally it's our hard-hitting camping season. So doing a walk around of the vehicles is a good way to keep trying to make content and keep doing some stuff, spending a day out here versus a weekend. And what better way to start off this series / playlist than other with Thomas and his beloved 1988 Ford Bronco II. So do you want to tell us them a little bit about why you chose Bronco II as the vehicle that you're going to sink all your time and money into to go on these trips?
Sure, if I don't have a choice. Yeah, so you might be asking yourself why a Bronco II? They didn't make them very long. They only made them from like 1984 to 89, I think, due to safety concerns. So the reason for the Bronco II, way back when, there was a website called Craigslist before Facebook Marketplace took over. Scrolling through Craigslist one day, and I found this Bronco II for $1,000. I said, Nick, I think I found the vehicle that I can finally take off-road with your Mighty Max. So we load up in Nick's truck and we make the long trek to North Georgia to meet this 18 or 19-year-old kid, and I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, I'm getting this for cheaper. So I meet him, I drive the Bronco, it's got some problems. Of course, it's, 32 years old at this point. And so we start the negotiation process, and I'm confident. So he's asking $1,000, I offer him $500. He says $1,000. Okay. About $600. He says $1,000. About $700. $1,000. So after a long negotiation process, finally we came to a middle point of $1,000. And so we loaded up, brought it home, and that started the whole process of finally getting off-road with it, having a good time, driving through our local WMA lands, stuff like that. So that's kind of the history of me getting it.
So over the years of you taking it, as we've gone further and further, you've had to make it better and better. It's had many forms. I know at first you threw some just cheap all-terrain tires on it, and now you got these big old mud tires. So what are you running now?
Yeah, so I think I put like 28-inch all-terrain tires on it, and that was cool for a long time. They pay for themselves. But as we started going on to more challenging off-road parks and WMAs and stuff of that nature, where I was getting stuck a lot more, and yeah, I was always the one getting stuck. I'm still the one who's always getting stuck. After that, yeah, I started the improvement process. So first and foremost, I ended up having an engine failure. I'll get more into that later. So it got a remanufactured engine and transmission. I ended up doing a 4-inch rough country lift, and it's been great. Put 32-inch BFG KM3s on it, 32 by 11.5. It made a world of difference. After those upgrades, that's when I started to do some of the recovery stuff. I've got a new front bumper, got a winch on it, rear bumpers, drawer systems, interior restoration. The list goes on, but yeah, the long process of restoring the vehicle kind of it started at that point.
So speaking of all that, let's start with what's under the hood and what you got going on under there.
If we have to, okay. So you might be thinking to yourself, man, I bet this guy did a V8 swap in it. I'm a professional diesel mechanic. He probably put a 302 or 305. Nope. I went back with the same bone stock, slow 2.9 liter V6. Definitely one of the slowest, lowest horsepower engines that Ford has ever made. And So don't ask him why I went back with it. It was easy. I was in California when I bought the engine, actually. All right, so now that we're under the hood, yeah, again, just a stock 2.9 liter V6. Ford only ran these for a few years, and I think the Bronco II and the Ranger were the only vehicles that actually ran it in. So I ended up putting a remanufactured engine in. Prior to that, these engines were really bad about consuming coolant. So as we're driving it and going on some trips, I noticed it's drinking a lot more coolant, burning a lot more coolant, and I'm starting to get a lifter tick, which these are bad about that as well. So I decided to go ahead and tear it down and do some testing on it. Took the heads off, brought it to a machine shop. Heads were good, no cracks. Did a head job, new head gaskets, new lifters, the whole 9 yards. Drive it for a while after that, no issues. And the beginning of one of our trips, we're driving on I-75, start to lose power, start to get a bottom end knock, pull over and decide it's done. So the engine is done. I'm not tearing it apart again. I will wait and get a remanufactured one. So that's what I did. I was in California with the military at the time and ordered a remanufactured engine, had it sent to Nick's house, and transmission. I got a transmission as well. And once I got finished out there, we came back and we installed it and haven't really had any base engine issues since. Yeah.
Well, I was going to add, I don't know, the first one you put in, remember it had a knock or something, and
yeah,
then you had to warranty it. And we were going on a camping trip, and you had to, we were leaving Friday.
Yeah.
And the new engine came in on a Wednesday. And I think, had the old one out ready, and then had to butt this back up to the new your new transmission and get it in basically within 2 days running and driving. So we can go on that trip. I don't think we left Friday because I think the drive shaft exploded on the Mighty Max also.
It did, yeah.
And then I think we left Saturday morning to go to Durham town.
Yep. Yeah, we all came together and put it in.
I think the only thing you've added other than, just upgrading stuff and putting newer stuff in here, the only thing you've really added is this little fuse terminal block for, light bars and all your extra stuff, and the actual ARB air compressor.
The new add-ons, the adjusted ARB air compressor, which I ended up getting lucky, and I was able to use a old fuel pump bracket off this Bronco. These come with 2 fuel pumps from the factory. I've done a big conversion I'll tell you about with the interior, but this was the high pressure fuel pump bracket, and it actually just fit the ARB compressor perfect. And yeah, homemade little fuse box holder over there, nothing special. I just have a couple things on it right now. Pretty much everything under the hood is either manufactured or replaced, and it's been pretty reliable ever since. Pretty reliable.
So now that we're done with the engine and transmission, let's see what axles you have under here pushing and pulling this thing.
If we have to.
So under here, you swapped out both front and rear axles. And so what all do you have to do for that?
Yeah, so the Bronco IIs and Rangers, they only come with a couple of different axles in their entire life. So for the front here, the original is a Dana 28 with a pretty small ring gear. I forget exactly what size. And mine came with a 373 gear ratio. So in the front here, I found a Dana 35 front axle, twin traction beam out of a 1990 Ranger. So the full rebuild, axle shafts, everything has been replaced, renewed to the fullest extent possible. And I ended up doing a re-gear to 456. Along with that, I added a steering stabilizer. That's kind of helped with a little bit of the bump steer. New bushings, new ball joints, just about new everything. Steering as well, new steering gear, new inner outer tie rod ends, new adjusters, sway bar links. I did also add some sway bar disconnects. They're up here somewhere, so I can kind of easily pull a pin out and take the sway bar out and stick it up here. That gives me a little more articulation. I had to make my own because the Bronco II is let's just say they don't make many aftermarket parts for it. I did end up having to have the drive shafts custom made by Tom Woods Drive Shafts. Awesome company. I sent my measurements in, and they They were made perfectly to spec. Haven't had an issue with them at all. So when I did this full, this big axle swap, I did end up replacing the coil spring buckets and shock mounts. So I ended up going to a dual shock system, kind of like the old Bronco, the full size Broncos were. I added a James Duff long extended radius arm kit that, again, to hopefully give me some more articulation. James Duff's another great company, good customer service, highly recommend them. That is the front end for the most part, the front axle.
You want to go to the back and we can look at the back axle and your airline and all that stuff?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's go.
All right, so now being in the back here, which axle did this come out of?
So the Bronco IIs only came with one axle option in their entire lifespan. That was a Ford 7.5. I wanted to re-gear anyway, and I thought, what a better time to go ahead and up my ring gear size to a Ford 8.8. Came out of a 2001 Ranger. The only issue is that I had to do some custom modifications to the spring purchase and the shock mounts. They sat too wide for the Bronco II, so I had to cut the spring mounts off, cut the shock mounts off, get brand new ones, weld them in place to get that set up right. So also, as you can probably see, it's got an ARB differential cover, and yes, there is an ARB air locker in there. It's not just a cover. I put a extended brake line, as you can probably see, for the rear proportioning valve to help out with articulation so I don't snap it. James Duff shocks in the front and the rear, and of course all new brakes, and same Tom Woods drive shaft is back here. Again, they made it just perfect once you send the measurements in, so I definitely recommend them.
Well, since you've re-geared, now you can drive on the interstate at highway speeds instead of being the grandpa in the back.
Sometimes.
Well, coming up from the axles, you want to tell us about these bumpers, front and rear, and your plans to the exterior of the Bronco.
If you guys really want to, sure. All right, so now that we're back here at the front, I'll tell you guys about the bumper choice that I went with. There weren't many companies. Again, there's not a lot of aftermarket companies that make parts for Bronco 2s. Any of you, for whatever reason, are looking to get a Bronco 2 for your off-road vehicle, watch this video and listen to me. They don't make many parts for the Bronco 2. Well, I was able to acquire this one, affordable off-road. They are exactly what they sound like. They are affordable, and they do make a quality product. There's probably a lot lighter bumpers out there, or more complex bumpers, but this gets the job done. It is a winch mount bumper. I think it was only about $400, not painted or powder coated, so not a bad price. I did have it powder coated by a local powder coat company, Swamp Donkey Off-Road, and once I got it installed, I did eventually get a Smittybilt 9,000-pound winch, and it's been used many times. Great winch, cheap Walmart light bar. Don't need anything fancy there. Overall, very good bumper. Very, very pleased with it. So now that we're back here in the rear again, I'll tell you about my rear bumper choice. I couldn't go with affordable off-road. They didn't make a rear bumper, or else I would have, so I had to go back to James Duff. So I did get a James Duff rear bumper with one swing arm for a spare tire. So I'll open that up. The only complaint I would have about the bumper, it is quite heavy. I don't have the exact amount, the exact weight off the top of my head, but it is a really heavy bumper. The cool parts is it comes with 2 areas for swing arms, and you do have an optional spot for a jerry can holder. I'm not using jerry cans. I'm using roto packs, so I didn't really need that. They also include a spot for your high lift jack or your farm jack, whatever you want to call it. So overall, good bumper. Works fine, works great. It is just a little on the heavy side.
Well, enough about the mechanics. Let's go inside and see what you got done there.
Okay. All right, so now that we're inside, I'll give you guys kind of an overview of what I did to the interior. So I did spend a significant amount of time restoring the interior. We're going to put some pictures up, but so this Bronco 2 came with a ugly red 80s interior. Everything was red. Carpet was red, the seats were red, steering wheel was red, dash was red, the headliner was red, everything was red.
I loved it.
Well, I assume it was red. I don't see colors very well, so everyone said it was red. But I do know that it stank, and that was due to a heater core that had been leaking for God knows how long. So amongst finding that out, I took the entire interior out, decided I wanted to do a big restoration, a big swap, just to find some holes in the floorboards. So I ended up patching the holes in the floors and then started the restoration process. I got rid of the carpet and went with a vinyl floor. It makes it a whole lot easier to clean your mud out. The seats, I got rid of the factory 60/40 seat and put in a couple of Caribou bucket seats. They've been great so far. I had a custom shifter boot made by my local upholstery shop, and the dash is not the original dash anymore. I ended up buying a parts Bronco because I wanted to restore the interior to a little more modern of a look. So this came out of a 1990 Bronco II. I did end up painting it all with SEM black. I thought it turned out pretty good. And everything is from that 90 model, including the steering column, all the trim, basically everything. The door panels are aftermarket, but they are brand new because the old ones were junk. So brand new door panels. And I also ended up having the headliner redone because it was falling apart. So same local upholstery shop that did the shifter boot, they also restored my headliner for me, and it looks a lot better than what it did. That's just about it. I did paint everything in the back as well. You can't really see that, but it's fine. The same SEM black, so everything matches. Is black on black on black, and I've been pretty darn happy with it.
I was a big fan of the red. I loved the red ugly big metal dash, and I liked Thomas used to have these like mood lights, those Amazon or AutoZone LED strips that you plug into the cigarette lighter and you could turn them on. They were dark blue, and he would turn them on. We were driving around like when we'd all pile in his Bronco and drive around at night. He'd turn them on. He'd call them mood lighting.
I miss it sometimes too, but not a lot. I like this. This
interior definitely is cleaner, better. It just seems more complete instead of the other one where just, the carpet stunk and the seats were bad. And the only part I liked about the old one was the dash. So I like your new gauges better, but I like the layout of the old dash.
Yeah, it had more of a classic look. I'll admit that, but these work.
Well, let's see what you got in the back.
All right, we're back in the back. Let me show you what's back here. So amongst our overland endeavors, we decided to switch from coolers to refrigerators and from bins like this to mostly drawer systems. So I'll start with the drawer system. I was actually very lucky. A buddy of Nick's dad gave him these drawers, and they wouldn't fit in his Jeep. So I'm working on the Bronco one day, and I didn't get a choice. He comes over, sticks them in, and says, "Hey, look, they fit. They're yours now." So I've been borrowing these, I guess, for the past 3 or 4 years. Great drawers, though, and again, didn't have to do a thing to them. Got a good bit of space. I mean, I don't know if you can see anything that's in here, but it pretty much carries everything I need as far as my camping essentials. This side I typically put food on, so coffee maker, plates, some food, snacks, that kind of stuff. And this is just your standard, Home Depot, I don't know, plastic bin, and that's got a lot of our other stuff, and it's got tools in it. I've got a toilet in there, diesel heater, which we'll probably do a video on those sometime. What else is in here? Jumper cable, some spare parts, scan tool, stuff like that. And if you move over here, of course, I don't have a cooler anymore. We have switched to the fridge, and this is an Iceco. I don't remember the model. Maybe we'll post it in the description. But it's been a great fridge. I think it's 40.
I think it's 42.
42 quarts.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
So, and it's been awesome. No more. You don't have to deal with any more ice. I use a Jackery to power it. Of course, you can get any kind of mobile power station you want, but we don't have to deal with ice anymore. It keeps the food nice and dry and cold, and I'm in love with it.
So I know you want to eventually take these out and build something completely different. And like, what exactly do you want to build in here?
So I really like either the 2-drawer system on the bottom or having them stacked. I'm kind of leaning towards having the drawers stacked and having the fridge lower, because I don't know if you can see right now, but if you're vertically challenged, you're probably not going to be able to see anything that's inside the fridge. I can just barely see it, and it likes to try to hit my tailgate. So if I can have the fridge lower, both drawers on top, I think that's what I want to do.
Well, I like these drawers. I wish they fit mine. I've had to build something completely different for mine, which we'll go over when we go over mine. I guess if you'd like, let's look at you talk about your tent, the shower you got on here, and the awning, and we can kind of talk about it and go over all that stuff.
Sure, if y'all want to. Whatever.
All right, so up top you got it's the Smittybilt 3-person tent.
Yep, yeah, it's a smaller one. Been a good tent. No real issues out of it. The cover has started to tear a little bit, but that's expected when you're driving through trees and the sun beating down on it. Yes, and spiders. Normally I take this off and store it for the winter. I just haven't done that yet. That'll probably be a tomorrow or Monday project. So do a time lapse of this.
Well, I'll probably just cut it.
Oh. You know. No, it folds.
Oh, because you're opening this way.
Yeah. God, how long has it been? Do you even camp? Edit out my old man.
Your ladder.
I love this ladder. It has made things so much easier with this tent. I just leave mine like that. I don't either.
Oh, wow. Look at that tent there, buddy.
Got some miles on it.
That's a song now by Kane Brown.
Home sweet home.
So this is a 3-person tent, right?
Yep.
Which I had a similar one, but I had to upgrade because I keep reproducing. It's pretty spacious for just 1 or 2 people.
It's great for 2 people. I mean, it's even better if it's just me, but if it's just 2 adults, no problem. And I know you had the same tent with 3 people in it, or 2 adults and 1 kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it still wasn't too bad, right?
Yeah, it was
pretty good.
It got bad when the Stella started coming and we had 4 people, 2 kids and 2 adults. That was when it started getting tight. So
I will offer a tip. If you are considering one of these canvas style tents like this, do not fold it up wet, or if you do, as soon as you get home, unfold it and let it dry out for as long as you possibly can. If not, you're going to get mold and mildew like what we did, and it takes about a day to really clean it and get it all out.
And it almost ruins everything inside.
It really does.
Yeah.
I do recommend spraying it with some what's the stuff called? Like Scotch Guard.
So water repellent.
Water repellent. It definitely helps because this isn't the same material as the rain fly, so you can get some moisture to come through that, but the Scotch Guard or any kind of a water repellent will help with that.
All right, so I also have one of these showers, so we'll get it out and we talk about it, set it up.
Yeah.
So you got it's Ironman 4x4, right? And it's like a portable shower.
Yeah, it's like a shower, toilet privacy room, whatever you want to use it for, party room, poker room, just whatever you can fit in there. We've only had the pleasure of using it a few times, but it really does make a difference for you to be able to take a hot shower while you're out in the woods. We do have a shower system too. Maybe we'll put that in a different day, but the ease of setup for this is what really got me wanting it. I had one of the instant pop-up shower tents, and if any of you have ever gotten one of those, you know they do set up instantly, but they do not go back up instantly whatsoever. So after I failed a for the last time. I think I threw it in the woods. I'm sure I went to get it. And then I bought one of these. And again, it has been fantastic. So it's just got a couple of locking pieces, and once you get it set up, you can stake it down if you need to. I've never really had the need to do it. As soon as I can find the zipper, we'll go inside. Just has one zipper, I believe, one entrance and one exit in case of a fire. So once you get inside, I mean,
and then
zipper up.
You would adjust these to whatever height you wanted at.
Yep, exactly.
So
I mean,
way.
it's that easy. You just kind of pull on your brackets here.
But it makes it way easier when they're all the way loose to fold it up.
Yes.
When it's tight, you can't get the slack you need to fold the arms back up.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
And once you do that, it's where'd you guys go? Yeah, it's nice in here. You can't see me.
All right, so now that you got your tent, you got your shower, bathroom, whatever you're gonna use this, and now we can show the awning, get the setup, see how that is. All right, so the awning you have is the 6x6 mini built?
6x6 mini built. I don't think they make this one anymore. I don't think. Maybe they do. I don't know. Don't listen to me. So we'll get it out. It's pretty easy setup, a lot like the shower. Once you get the zipper out.
Man, that really scared me.
So after you're finished breaking my stuff, it's got some Velcro straps just like the shower. You know what? I've already got all the stuff set up.
You gonna stay?
I'm just gonna stay. Will you bring me some food later?
So simple setup. The awning's probably one of the quickest things. Just roll it out and you're done.
A note for the awning: same material as the tent, so it is that canvas material. If you don't treat it with some kind of water repellent, it'll leak. This is not designed to be completely waterproof. It's mostly to keep the sun off of you. If it's raining heavy, don't rely on this to keep you completely dry.
Well, I feel like that was the majority of everything on the Bronco. I personally love the Bronco. I feel like it's become one of the faces of our group and the page and everything. I'm a big fan of forcing the old vehicles to run even if they don't want to.
That makes one of us.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in and watching our Get to Know the Rigs videos. I plan to do everyone in the group. The next one will probably be my Cherokee and maybe Thomas walking around with me, asking me some questions, and try to iron out all the little details, and then we'll try to get everyone else in the group to come out into the woods with us one day, and we'll film, do some walkarounds, talk about everyone's setup and everything, find out what we should add and what we shouldn't add in the videos. Anything you want to add before we au revoir? Is that the word?
Auf Wiedersehen?
No, I was saying French.
Oh, au revoir?
Yeah, that.
Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen.
Is there anything you need to add, want to add?
No, just thanks for tuning in. We're trying to get better at these videos. Thanks for putting up with listening to a 1988 Bronco II for the last hour. Please subscribe, share with your friends. Thanks for checking out my crib, but it's time to go. You can't stay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Now go away. I need to get clean. Been in the woods all day.